Hello YouTube, this is Jessica from STEM APKs. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you remember, in the last tutorial, I showed you how to crop images and we were able to open an image like this one. We just open it, then we would, let's just use the same image, might as well, and then we would just allow you to copy it, and it would be ask you if you wanted to select the area, you want to save it, yes, and then you can save it. We did all of that in the last tutorial. I'd show you how to do that. In this tutorial, we're going to be doing something a little bit more interesting. It would also give you the ability to open a file, but it would also give you the ability, the functionality that you can actually add a watermark to the image. So you basically can add either, it will give you a choice of either of a text or an image file. In case that you wanted to add, let's say, a text, you can just say, let's say, hello, YouTube, and then just apply, and you can see it's right there, the watermark. And you can toggle it, so you can make it a little bit darker, as you can see, or you can make it lighter. So it allows you to do that, but it also allows you the ability to not only to add text, but you can also add an image. So for example, let's add this one and then apply, and there you go. And same thing, you can make it darker or you can make it lighter, and you can change the opacity. You can do all that because you have complete control over it. This is not Photoshop. You can actually do whatever you wanted to do. And that's what I'm going to be showing you in this tutorial. And the way we're going to do it today, I'm going to be using my GitHub repository because there was too many files to copy and paste into my Jupyter notebook. So I'd rather work out of right from the same file that you're going to have in front of you. So you can follow along. You can just go to my repository. My GitHub page is, if you don't know, is Chesco345, and it's got all my repositories. It is being updated. I just did it a few hours ago. So this is the last image that I just showed you, that image. So it is very recent. So you can just go there. I'm going to be using Visual Studio because that way I can have control over the terminal. So I'm going through the same thing that you're going to see in GitHub, but I'm doing it through Visual Studio. So what are the changes? These are some of the changes. The ones in red was, if you use Git, you know what I'm talking about. Red is out, green is in. So I added a version to Chrono for the timestamps and time. And I also added these two libraries. That's the only thing that I changed in the cargo toml file. In the main RS file, the main entry point, the only thing that I've changed, I added the menus. For example, add watermark, edit watermark, remove watermark, and toggle preview. I did that because we need to have the edit. Just add watermark, edit watermark, remove watermark, toggle preview. That's all that I changed on the main menu. Everything else is the same. On the crop tool, there was just a mutability that I had to make it change something, very minor changes, but they're there. And now we get more into the new code. This is in the source menu watermark, and if you just so you follow along, this is the watermark uh, new stuff that I created. This is the stuff from the last tutorial, and this is from the other few tutorials ago. This is all the new stuff right there. and some of the changes that I will show you. So right now I'm working with the blend.rs file. Is this guy right there, blend.rs. So what is happening here? We're bringing SERDI for deserializing and serializing images. That has more to do with the storage and how you're able to save and load the watermark settings. Here we're also bringing all the modes, the blend modes that are available for all the watermarks, normal, multiply, screen, and so on. Here is the trait, the blend trait, or that defines the interface for pixel blending. It takes the base image and watermark pixel, the opacity controls, transparency, and it returns the final blended pixel. Here's the implementation of that, where it goes more into how it's done. And as you can see, it's multiplying the blend, the screen blend. It's just using the same guys, but now it's using them there. And most the blend modes implementation, the multiply, just to give you an idea, multiplies pixel values, and by doing that, it darkens the image. When you do the overlay, what it does is combines the multiply and the screen. I'm going to show you. You're going to see it, how it's done. The overlay blend basically is combining the multiply and screen. The screen mode, I went one too fast, sorry. The screen is just an inverse multiplication, and by doing that, is lightening the image. Let me just show you so it's easier for you to see what I'm talking about. This is the inverse multiplication, and when you do that, you're basically lightening the image. Here, you're yeah, this one. Here you're darkening the image, lightening the image, kind of overlays a combination of the multiply and the screening. The soft light is just a softer version of overlay, and the hard light is a harsher version of overlay. And then the difference is the absolute difference between the pixels. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Excuse me. Then we have the helper functions, the blend with opacity. Where are they? Uh, did I go over? Yeah, it's this one. The blend with opacity, where there's a final composition with opacity, the linear interpolation. This is the linear interpolation between colors. And now is the other stuff, how the mathematics of behind each one of these functions, all of that good stuff, all the math that goes into it. That's the blend RS file. Now we go into the dialog RS file. The dialog RS file, let me show you. The, basically what the dialog RS is going to be handling the watermark user interface. So it's going to be bringing some of the same usual suspects, but it's also bringing the show watermark dialog. This is let me just show you. When I open an image, this is the wrong one. This is the different version. Let me close this so not to get confused. When you open the watermark, add watermark, you can see this dialog. That's what that is. This dialog, as you can see, add watermark. That's what that is. Add watermark. You can see here, choose watermark type. Choose watermark type. The radio buttons, these are the radio buttons. Image file, as you can see, text, text. Select image file. No file selected. Select image. All of that stuff. That's dialog that is being done right there. Is the set callbacks on because every time they have a share between this one and that one. And while this one is on, you have no functionality of the main window, right? So this is where it's happening. You have to break that communication until you're done with this. Once you finish with this, then you have control over this image again. Okay, so this is what's happening with the dialog boxes, the layout structure, the state management of the dialogues, all of that good stuff is happening right here. The here, where is it? There was one that I wanted to show you because that's important later. It's going to come back. Can't find it right now. I'll get back to it whenever we get there. Okay, so we go into the new file. And now this is the fonts. This is why we brought that cargo tumble. Now let's show you here so you can follow along. Uh, this is the assets. I brought these fonts, assets, and then this is the font that I'm using. I downloaded this from the internet. I just wanted something that I didn't have to work with the Mac um, fonts, so that's where I put it, so you know where it's coming from. So going back to the code, this is using the assets folder that I just showed you, and that's the default. And this is all the font stuff that goes on to make sure the fonts play nice, all of that stuff, loading, the lazy static, and the rusty type, this is all there. Error handling. This, don't worry about this. This is for testing. We'll do that at the very end. They're there, so I don't have to do them over again. And now we get into the handlers. This is doing all the handling logic. Um, what's happening here is doing let me show you here. This is basically bringing all the the handling logic from, um, yeah, let me stop there. It handles the watermark. It takes the frame UI, the state app data, and the watermark path. So this is what's happening here. Because you have two options. You can either go from the path, or you can go from create it. It's because I'm gonna add also a way to generate synthetic watermarks. I'm still working on it, but that's basically what's going on under the hood. The options here, they're basically that's the watermark option setup. It's got the position, it's got the opacity. Right now I have it set up at 30%. You have the blend mode, you have the scaling because you have to do some scaling. It's going to be 25% of the original. And then you have no rotation right now, but you can also change those as we change the code later when we add other stuff. This is the watermark, text watermark handler, the error handling, some of the sharing between the frame and the image, and going some of it. Remember, we're using full tick and we're also using the image crate, so they have to play nice with each other. So basically you're gonna see that going back and forth between those two. That's why we're using the reference counting to keep track of all that stuff. So here, same thing, we're reference counting, we're the state management pattern. We're using here, instead of that, we're using now text. So the opacity is darker. We're using black text. So you can see 000255, and we're using a font size of 32. Higher opacity, I just said that, and then save state borrowing, image presence check, all of that good stuff is taking place on both, on the text and the image. Here, these are the handlers, where they're all doing their own stuff. This one is bringing the one from the path. That's I was using it for debugging. You can work it out that you have an image that you keep working with instead of creating choosing one, selecting one every time. That's up to you. And those are the handlers. Now the image watermark. This is a very important file because this is where all the rotation and some of the math is going on the core image watermark functionality. For example, let me just show you, where is it? Yeah, here is the original dimensions for the scaling, the dynamic image. This is the actual watermark image. We have the creation and loading. We have image resizing. I want to just, I cannot touch on all of them, but this video will be so long. This is the filtering to make maintaining the aspect ratio nice when you do the watermark, and it's handling both the absolute and relative sizing. Apply the rotation. That's the math behind the rotation, converting from angles to radians. This is the dimension calculations, matrix rotation, boundary handling, transparency preservation, and we continue down where this is calculating dimensions, calculating positions, because remember, when you create the image, this is going to be at a position, but that position can be here, can be there, can be there. This is where, between this one here and the position.rs file, that's where all of that is taking place. And when I mentioned, let me just show you really quick, is this guy right here, position.rs. And keep going. I'm just hitting on the ones that are very important testing. We don't care about that right now. That's the mods for all of the watermarks, the error handling. This is when we keep re-exporting uh, between the two, because remember, we're dealing between image watermark, but we're also dealing with text watermark. Here, this is the synthetic part that I was telling you about, that I'm going to be using that. I will add some functionalities I haven't added yet. I'm still working on it. For example, the edit. Just show you really quick. The edit watermark and the remove watermark, they're there, but they still, if I click on it, there's nothing there. They still don't have functionality, but they're already put in the menu. And some of this stuff you've seen before from past tutorials, the blending, um, rotation, position. This is the one that I was telling you about. This is the one that handles the position of where in the image is going to be the watermark. Is it going to be top left, top right, bottom left, center, custom? You can change that. All of that you can change. This is what is going in order the unsigned integers to do the calculation. The padding, where in the image, for example, how far, the padding from here, the X and the Y, all of that, that's what's happening here. And here, some of the helper functions, padding also, where the position and the testing. And we keep going to the next one, defaults. This is the lazy static that I was telling you about at the beginning. Um, what's going on here? Uh, here, here we get more into the default types and the templates mode.rs file. What's happening here? This one is where it holds all the templates in memory. It maps the names to template data. As you can see, it's a hash map. It maintains the system file path. It does the initialization, default templates, is going creating a template directory, is loads the template. Where is it? It loads the default templates right here, initializes the storage, handles the errors gracefully, hopefully. And now the storage and saving the templates, template storage operations, that's all of that. That's what's going on there. And now this is the file system integration, loading the templates, file system operations using serializing with JSON. And that's what's deserializing here and deserializing because it's going back and forth. And JSON serialization, file writing, error handling, saving to disk, and testing. And almost done here where this is the text watermark. This is where all the text watermark logic comes from, where all the, because remember we're doing images and we're also doing text. This is where all of that is happening. We have the cortex watermark structure, watermark creation, text content setting, color configuration, font size specification, bound checking, making sure that everything stays within the bounds. The text rendering engine, um, where is it? Applying the rotation. Some of it we haven't done yet. We're still working on it. That's a to do. Watermark for the text watermark. Calculate the positions. Applying whatever we did. Blending it. The opacity. This is where all this is controlled pixel per pixel. And then remove. We still have to do some work. This is not functional yet. And the testing. And basically, the other stuff that on this section there were not very many changes. The state is this one is an important one, and I'd like to spend a little time here on the watermark state file, because this is where what's happening is here is managing the watermark state across the application. Remember that I mentioned is handling the conversion between full tick and the image crate. So it has to coordinate between the image and text watermark. That's what's happening there. But it also controls the preview functionality and it maintains the template management. All of that is being done in the watermark state file. And it's being done through all of these enums. One of them is where's the one? Where is it? I just saw it. Oh, there it is. This the image enum for the image watermark and the text watermark. This is where that is coming from. It's also the watermark state. This is for thread safety, and this is thread safety. What else here? This is where what I was talking about, the full tick to image buffer, because it's going back from full tick to image buffer, back from image buffer to full tick. So sometimes you're going from one, sometimes you go to the other, and they have to play nice with each other. This is where it's being handled at the watermark state. Because, for example, when you have a TIFF file, you're gonna be needing the image crate. When you need certain graphical user interface, you're gonna need some of the buttons from Fulltick, but they have to be going back and forth, and this is where all of that those states are being managed and being kept where they should be in their lane. And basically, that's what I wanted to show you. I didn't want to make this video too long. We can spend here 3 hours going into this, but I think I touched on all the most important Um, and like I said, this is in my GitHub. You can look at it, you can play with it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's in my GitHub page. You can clone the repository and do with it whatever you choose to do. This is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time with another tutorial. Take care.